Georgians need to get through this pandemic and get our
Come on, Raphael Warnock, you can do this. We want you for senator. Beat Kelly Loeffler. She's not going to become senator. You are, Warnock. You're the great man. Defund the police. Get this virus under control. For George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. Oh, wait. Sorry, I already said George Floyd. Walter Wallace Jr.
Because she's clearly decided that she does not have a case to be made for why she should stay in that seat. I have worked my whole life to pull people together. I've been working on criminal justice reform. I've worked alongside law enforcement officers to do that work.
Defund the police, Warnock. Help Biden to defund the police.
Here in this city, the chief of police, the Black Lives Matter activists, the sitting attorney general,
For Martin Luther King and John Lewis.
Focused on working on these issues that we've seen emerge time and time again. And we need somebody who knows how to bring people together rather than using these
Viva Mexico.
as a political point to be made. These issues are tragic, and our law enforcement officers lay it on the line every day. They have an ally with me. I just think that you can affirm what law enforcement officers do and hold them accountable. Senator Loeffler.
Yeah.
You know, my opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, has called police officers gangsters, thugs, bullies, and a threat to our children.
They are thugs, Kelly Loeffler. So be quiet. They are thugs and criminals. What happened to George Floyd? And Reverend Warnock, you're in to become senator.
What we need is someone who can bring together, that can help us get through this pandemic and rebuild our economy across this country and right here in Georgia. That's what I'm fighting to do.
Joe Biden will build things better. Boo to Kelly Loeffler. Thumbs up for Warnock. We love you, Warnock. Boo. Yeah. Boo. Yeah.
I was preaching that day from a very familiar Matthew text that says you can't serve God and mammon. It was a sermon about a moral foundation for everything that we do, and that when you have everything in order, that actually makes you a better soldier. It also makes you a better senator. And had Kelly Loeffler listened to the sermon rather than trying to make a cheap political point, she would not have used her advantage as a U.S. senator to make millions on a pandemic while playing it down to the people she was supposed to be representing.
True.
Lisa,
Respond.
go ahead.
Warnock is not dangerous.
I'm a Christian. I'm a person of deep faith. I don't need a lecture from someone.
Because you visited at his church.
Justify attacking our military. That's not in Matthew 6:24. It doesn't say you can't serve the military and God. But he's also used the Bible to justify abortion. I cannot stand by and let Georgians not know who my opponent is, how radical his views are, and how he would...
He ain't no radical. I don't believe he's a radical.
...with Georgia's values.
He wants us to help Black Lives Matter.
Lisa has one last question here for Senator Loeffler.
Senator Loeffler, good evening. State election official Gabriel Sterling proclaimed this has to stop. He was referring to threats against election workers, Governor Kemp, and the Secretary of State who received death threats. Sterling warned that false claims of widespread election fraud could lead to violence. He said somebody's going to get killed. At his urging, you responded by denouncing the violence, but some didn't think that was enough. So tell us tonight, what is your message to those who would threaten officials, and have you made an effort to...
Reverend Warnock for senator of my state of Georgia. Let's go Warnock and John Ossoff.
Threats of violence, I absolutely denounce it. But you know, here's what's at stake. The future of our country hangs on this state having free, fair, trusted elections. We have built an organization within our campaign to make sure that Georgians trust this process. And
Wrong.
President Trump has encouraged Georgians to get out and vote because the future of the country is at stake on January 5th. We need folks to trust the process because that's what makes our democracy possible right here. We've got to get
Not
to the
working.
bottom of these investigations that have started too late. There's 250 investigations. including into Raphael Warnock's voter registration organization for the second time for trying to register voters in New York. That doesn't represent the voice of Georgia. I'm
Wrong.
to make sure that we hold officials accountable for carrying out free, fair, trusted elections that are accurate.
Reverend, I want to ask you about this election. Much has been made of President Trump's refusal to concede, but 2 years ago, Stacey Abrams refused
Let
to
Jews help
saying
us.
that there was voter suppression. Do you think there was voter suppression 2 years ago? And do you think this election...
For Stacey Abrams.
Listen, voter suppression is something that happens all across our country.
Bless you.
It's happened here in the state of Georgia. But Stacey Abrams did not refuse to acknowledge the fact.
She almost won, and I felt bad for her, Warnock.
Several weeks after the election, and Kelly Loeffler continues to cast doubt on an American democratic election. It's time to put this behind us and get focused on the concerns.
We love you, Warnock. Be our senator.
She's playing political games, trying to represent somebody who doesn't live in Georgia. Georgians are wondering when are they going to get some COVID-19 relief. They're wondering who is going to put.
You can help together with Biden.
In front of the large corporate giants, and they're wondering when are we going to call the people, give the people we call essential workers an essential wage. I want to go to the United States Senate to stand up for ordinary people. And when
I believe the Hebrews, Warnock.
with the voters,
And you too. You are a Hebrew
and that's what's going on right now.
of God's people.
Radical liberal Raphael Warnock has partnered with Stacey Abrams in these voter suppression conspiracies when in fact we have record
Wrong.
turnout in our state year after year.
False.
It's unfortunate that the focus is on a debate about who won the election when this process is still playing out, and President Trump has every right to every legal recourse. But we also have to make sure that Georgians know that we have a process that works, that their vote is counted, and that no illegal votes are counted. And that's what I'm going to continue to fight for, to make sure that Georgians know everything is at stake in this election, the future of our country, not just the radical ideas of the left, but the radical candidates who would defund the police, who would stand by and attack our military, and then withdraw funds that would support Chuck Schumer's defunding of our military by 25%. And I'm going to continue to make sure that we come back from this virus strong. I'm the only candidate qualified to help rebuild our economy and get past this pandemic.
Wrong.
We'll get to the point where you can ask each other questions. That does conclude the first portion of this debate. For people just tuning in, you're watching the runoff debate for one of Georgia's 2 U.S. Senate seats. We move now to the second round, where the candidates will ask each other a question. Candidates have